you have to commit the way Stan committed to saying, this is how we're going to do it, and we're going to do it and create this character. We're not going to, go out and basically take a lump of unformed clay out to set and say, we'll figure out what it is when we get there. That's really what it comes down to. It's the same way you want to commit to a script when you go into the project. You don't want to, sort of, we'll figure that out later. And there's a lot of that attitude, we'll figure it out later, we'll fix it in post. And that's why things tend to gravitate towards digital. What working practically can do in a really positive way is to focus you, is to say, you know what, this is about the story. This is about what are your needs to tell the story. You're not here to go, oh, well, they could say yes or they could say no in the scene. No, you wrote the story. You're supposed to do it one way, because if you could do it either way, then it doesn't mean as much. If you're telling a story that's supposed to go a certain way, and you perform a character a certain way, or you create a character a certain way, that's what its essence is. And if you're sort of saying, oh, we'll just change it in post, it's now a female character instead of a male character, or let's change this location entirely, it means that it wasn't that important to your story. And those are the kind of commitments that Stan always tried to say, you know what, when you go to this, when you're building this thing, you commit to it. Not only are you committing to it by building the thing, we're going to make you go out on set and perform it. So that'll really show you how well you built it, or how poorly you built it, because somebody else is going to have to, or you're going to have to make it work on set.
Can I interject something? I think there's also, people feel it gives them more flexibility to wait till post-production, but actually you missed every happy accident that happens on a set. You have no opportunity to find moments because your actors are gone, you have a plate. But if you have a suit and a kick-ass character on set, the director's gonna go, we could put him here, we can move him here. Then accidental things happen, and that's where so much of the magic happens in movies, is stuff you didn't even expect. And the other thing, Dad, I'm just gonna get Dad's message about all this, is Dad, he said it's all about storytelling. Our job is to serve the story, and what makes a great story is great characters that you believe in. What makes a great character is a great performance. And as Jimmy Stewart said, acting is reacting. And to give the actors something to react to is going to elevate their performance, which elevates their character, which elevates the story. So there's such a huge, huge benefit to if you can have it there in the room, have it there in the room.
Even if it's having something, as Matt said, for your characters, your other characters to react to. Even if you know you're going to make this character digital, having somebody perform it, like Andy Serkis as Gollum, or all of the actors in Avatar, actually performing their characters on set for everybody else to react to and to work with, is so much different. You can really tell when you watch movies where the classically trained actors are in front of the blue screen versus some of the younger ones, because the classically trained ones are used to acting on stage and making you believe they're in an environment on a bare stage. And some of the younger ones, it's harder to kind of see that in their eyes, to see that belief. And so it's really important to have things physically there. Sorry, your question, sir.
I see you making school, and that's pretty cool, training everyone and showing them the techniques. I'm kind of curious, how do you feel in this day and age, there's so much money and budget that are ballooning in corporate control and creative control kind of being tossed around. What do you feel about improv, in this day and age? Because I know Stan was pretty much almost a pioneer in so many respects. How do you feel for up-and-coming people to, create and improv, their own new effects and ways of doing things? How important do you think that is today?
Gentlemen?
Well, I think it's really important because we learn from every person that comes into the shop. Everyone's coming with a different sensibility, different experience, different background, and stuff that they've tried on their own and then get to either expand on. That's what's nice about this. You talked about the cooperative nature of our industry. It's we're not afraid of calling, our colleagues. And, I worked with Stan for a long time, and, if we didn't have what they were looking for, we'd send them someplace else that might. And so it's all about improv, because every job is different. You don't know what's coming on the next phone call. And so you've got to search out to the team and the resources out there to find out how to create this, because chances are that phone call has something that we haven't done before, maybe something similar, but that's where we cull from everyone's group experience, because we're all much stronger as a group than anyone could possibly solve on their own.
And to speak to that, we shoot the prototype every time. It's not like a car where you develop it for years and years and you test it and you go through it. You finish it usually a few days before it's due and you show up with it. So it's always that improv. And you bring your experience with you and the base that you've built on, and you bring that to that character. Because as you're building it, you know what you plan to do with it, but it is. You shoot that prototype, it is an improvisation each time.
I remember on the set of Terminator 2, they were shooting when Arnold strips his hand off, and Stan Winston Studio had built this beautiful articulated puppet arm that was strapped to Arnold, and they were puppeting it and making it turn, and putting shreds, and they were painting all this nice gore on it and stuff hanging off of it. And Jim came over and said, "Oh yeah, okay." And oh, you're jamming up the mechanism and everything, and it's gonna make it sticky. He goes, "We're shooting it tonight. In about 5 minutes when we're done, it's just gonna be in the way." And ultimately what he's saying is exactly, you're shooting the prototype, it's serving its purpose, it's doing what you want. What survives from it is the imagery that you've created, the character that you created, the impact of it, and all the knowledge that went into that improvisation to get you there. And those are the kind of things that the school is going to try to impart, that spirit of trying to figure out the way to get to where you want to do. It's not just a matter of, oh, I have this skill. It's how do you apply it? And that's what's really important. Sir?
The school itself, will there be a physical campus? If so, where is it? And will it be accredited where you can use student loans and all that kind of stuff if you're not paying for it?
Well, that's so complicated, accreditation. Is someone going to ask you for your card? I don't think. No, we're going to work out all those details with Alex in terms of accreditation. I know they have. You guys have an accreditation
and federal financial aid, student loans, all that through Noman right now. So we'll work out how to see what our plans are for the Stan Winston School.
Yeah, we're trying as best as we can to follow their model, so that's the accreditation question. There will definitely be real-world learning opportunities, hands-on workshops with artists. Noman has an amazing campus, and we love to bring Stan Winston affiliated artists to their campus to teach the techniques. So if you're very serious about this and moving to Los Angeles, there'll be plenty of opportunities to learn. But for the global audience, that 12-year-old in Japan or that 15-year-old in Russia, let me go all the way around the world, South America. You sit right in your chair at home. You'll have all the tools you need right in front of you, and each lesson will also have a comprehensive list of materials you need, where you get them, and I learned guitar on the internet the last 2 years. I think the internet really is the future of education. So that's going to be the major thrust of this experience.